Hello, everybody. This is Raucus, and I am here to bring a new series that I thought about for content to put on here. Um, this is going to be about Dungeon and Dragon stories. I'm not too sure what I'm going to title this series, but I will figure out a title somehow. So, I wanted to focus on Dungeon and Dragon stories, such as stories of my characters, stories that I created as a DM, some really good playthroughs that I've been through, some really fun games where players did amazing things either in my games or in other games that I was in. And so, yeah, I wanted to start this one with my very first character. So, I was introduced to Dungeons and Dragons I want to say late in my life, about junior year in high school. I lived in a Christian family, so I actually never really learned about Dungeons and Dragons at all. I probably played things, video games that were related to Dungeons and Dragons, such as Baldur's Gate, and a couple other role-playing ones that were probably like based or at least influenced by Dungeons and Dragons. But I never really actually played Dungeons and Dragons before. I never really knew anything about it uh, until one day my friend goes, "Hey, I have Dungeons and Dragons. Do you want to play?" And I said, "Sure. I don't know what this is about, but I'll go ahead and play it." So we roll up a character, and he asked me what I want to be, and I said, "Okay, I want to play Drow." And this is 3.5. I don't know if he went with the level adjustment rules or not, but we were doing 3.5. I wanted to be a Drow, a Dark Elf, because I was at that time I was kind of into like dark things, dark characters from dark backgrounds or dark evil races that aren't that don't follow those race norms, and so I was really interested in like dark things. So like, yeah, dark elf. I want to be a dark elf. And he's like, okay, you can be a dark elf, and this is what you get out of it. And he's like, all right, what class do you want to be? And so he described the classes, and I was like, you know what? I really like barbarian. I can definitely relate to the rage ability. And he's like, okay, like just completely throw away your culture. um, because yeah, it's like drows are focused on magic, arcane magic, and divine magic, and are or rogue type of things that very much like trickery and backstabbing. And my character was just not that. He was a barbarian. He didn't know how to read. It was 3.5. Like, barbarians didn't know how to read in 3.5. They actually had to use skill points to learn how to read. That's how, like, barbaric barbarians were. It was pretty funny. So he was just like, yeah, you threw away everything. And I was like, all right, cool. I had a really cool character. He was barbarian. He was super strong. He had really good skills stats. And then I used a double-bladed sword, meaning like I had a sword blade on two ends. And yeah, so I really had fun with this character, and the best part of it was that I was just going against the cultural norms of a drow like so often, because I got into a party. I did barbarian type things. We came to a lighthouse that we couldn't open the door when we pushed and tried to push it open, and so we were like, "Oh, it must be barred shut. Let's find a barricade, or let's find a door smasher of some kind." And so instead of because we were shipwrecked, we probably had a bunch of wood that we could probably have used for a battering ram, and we just didn't know how to do that for some reason. Uh, so we had a halfling. We had two halflings in our party. One of them was a druid. The other one was a fighter in full plate armor. And we decided to take the full plate armor halfling. Me, I think we had like a half orc or a human who was pretty strong, and the dwarf, and use the halfling as a battering ram. I think we did like two hits, and we almost killed the halfling. It was just, it was so funny. It was so stupid. And eventually, we were just like, okay. Is there a handle on the door? Yes, there's a handle on the door. Does it look like it has a lock? No, it doesn't look like it has a lock. Okay, I'm going to pull the door. So I pull the door and it pulls really open. Like, I was expecting it to be really strong, so I pulled it really fast and it just swung open. And we're like, oh my gosh, how stupid are we? We come to a door and we almost kill a party member trying to open it. But yeah, it was a really fun character to play. Like I said, my character was like disregarded all the norms of what his race would have done. Like, I befriended the dwarf. The dwarf character and my character were just best friends. We did everything together. We were always together in the party. We never really separated. And we just had the best fun. And it was hilarious because, like, dwarves and elves don't get along. Dwarves and drow really don't get along. And here we are, just best buds. And then we found dragon eggs. We eventually became dragon riders. Like, it was amazing. It was so fun. And it was my first time playing, so it's like I had the dice, I had a character sheet. I had no idea what I was supposed to do with these things. I had the D20 in my hand, and I figured out, okay, I know what the D20 does. And I had a D8 because I had a double blade sword. Both of them did D8 damage. So I was like, okay, D8, 20 side die. I got this. I looked at the character sheet and it was all gibberish to me. I had no idea what any of this was. I paid attention to some things such as the hit points. I understood that from video games. And the AC, I kind of understood that because that was something we ran into a lot. Skills I didn't use very much. I didn't even know that I could add things to my roll. And I have, to this day, I'm not too sure if my DM actually paid attention to whether I was using um, my bonuses or not. So I had huge bonuses to strength. I had huge bonuses to some of my skills. And I didn't use them because I had no idea how to use them. So I would just use natural rolls. Like if I rolled a 15, that's why I said I got 15. Or I got an 18. I was so lucky. Like beginner's luck, definitely. In the 4 sessions that I played in that campaign, I rolled a ton of numbers that were in between 15 to 20. And because I just used natural rolls. I didn't add any bonuses to them, and it was so fun, so fun. So that was my character. He was a real hoot. I really enjoyed playing D&D for the very first time. So my question to you guys, what were your first characters, your very first characters that you started with? What were they? What races were they? What classes were they? What edition did you start in? Did you start in 3.5, 4th or 5th edition, maybe 1st or 2nd? And yeah, just let me know in the comments, like, what did you enjoy about your first character? And yeah, I guess I will talk to you guys later.